Hello YouTube, Jared here again with another video for you. Back in October of last year, I started my Imperial Fists project. And back then, I thought it was going to only be a month or so, and I'd have the Imperial Fists all done. And I painted up 500 points, 750 points, 1,000 points. And then I stopped for a while, and then the Tau got finished, and a few other armies have gotten finished. And I have finally gotten around to finishing my Imperial Fist army. And this army is just over 2,000 points. It hit the qualifying number as of 11th edition. It is 2,160 points. I was originally going to add 10 more Terminators and another squad of Intercessors, but let's be real, painting yellow is difficult. This is a color that gives you no favors. It shows every mistake. And then I swear I switched from one bottle of Imperial Fist contrast to another, and it wasn't quite the same shade of yellow. Everything that could have gone wrong on this project went wrong on this project. But I finally got it done. I'm happy with it. I had some old decals of the Imperial Fist to put on here and some of the upgraded pieces, and those gave me trouble too. But through all of the trials, I have finished this army. I'm happy with this army. Imperial Fists are one of my favorite chapters lore-wise and thematically, but in terms of painting, I think they're one of my least favorite armies I've painted. I like these guys, don't get me wrong, but trying to paint the little fists icons on the raised shoulder pads could not make them look good no matter what I tried. And then just this shade of yellow is painful. My recipe was a pink undercoat, and then Averland Sunset, and then over the top of that, doing the Imperial Fist contrast paint. And you can see it's a pretty bright yellow, and I like it, but man, any tiny mistake was painful to fix. And so this was a absolute marathon to get through, especially because, as you can see, I did a Hammerfall bunker, and that's solid yellow panels, and a Dreadnought that's solid yellow, and then I did this Vindicator for some reason with hazard stripes. That was hard, and then they got a Fire Strike servo on over here too, and supposedly he and the Vindicator may go away in the next year or so. So hopefully this army's not going to drop below 2,000, and I have to break out my yellow paint again. But that said, I do have a very deep fondness for this army, especially the leader here, Darnath Nut Lysander. I saw the shield, and I knew I had to paint this army. I absolutely love this model, love this sculpt. One of these little points right here is scuffed. I think it got busted or dinged on something, and that broke my heart. But other than that, really, really like this guy. This shield just speaks to me. And someday when I feel better about my freehanding, I'm going to put his name on here. But until then, like a lot of my guys with little bars on it, it'll remain empty. I've done it a few times, but my hands shake and my handwriting's not amazing. But I am very, very happy with old Darnath right here. And then somewhere around here, right here, is Torgaradon. And he came out really well as well, too. I love that he took the Power Fist and added more fists to it and added hydraulics. This is a fun kit. He's got some little spindly bits, but oof, just such a fun kit right here. And then I've been more strategic this time around. This is the army where I realized I need to match leaders to squads. So the first 1,000 points was mostly leaders, and then squads they couldn't lead, and I realized I messed up. And so that was the other thing that really went wrong on this army, is I realized I needed to actually match people to their units. And so now I have every single leader has a squad that they're legally allowed to lead. And I fixed it. But originally, that first 1,000-point list was near unplayable. I actually painted a Librarian and Terminator armor, and then realized he had nothing to lead, and so didn't like the paint job on him. He's going to get repainted to do as a Blood Angel someday. So he's going to be my first model I repaint. But overall, I am pretty happy with this army. So I'll give you the quick walkthrough. The theme of this army is the Unbreakable Wall, of course. And so what makes this army is this is all of my heavy intercessors, 10 Terminators with a Captain and Terminator armor, and then Darnath can lead the other squad. And then we have the flamethrowers, and then the multi-meltas over here. We have some heavy weapons over here. So it's a lot of heavy weapons. a lot of brute force to kind of take and hold. But then also, between the Dreadnought and then the Deep Strike on the Terminators, the ability to really drop behind enemy lines. So this guy can move faster than you think. And so the goal of this army is kind of set down a line, let them come to you, hit them with all of the heavy stuff, hold the fort until they get close enough, then spring the trap, Deep Strike in Terminators, bring in this guy. And then, for the real fun part, I have the Judicator, and he got to play in a game, and he did really well. I think I put him in 2 games now. In both games, he has been an absolute powerhouse. So he pairs with the Blade Guards, and now in the new edition, the Ancient can run alongside. And so this little pair right here from the Dawn of War box is just perfect. And so these Blade Guard came out perfect. I really like them. They were some of the first models I painted. But I'm a big fan of the Blade Guard. And I have to say, too, get Pro Acryl White to get the really stark white. And then Holy White from the Army Painter, which is a gray speed paint that goes well over white and gives it that really deep color. So this guy right here, this Terminator, check out the detail on that helmet. That is a little bit of green for the eyes, and then that Holy White contrast paint by Army Painter over Pro Acryl Bold Titanium White. That combo between those 2 brands, and then put everything else is pretty much Citadel, really, really works. So my favorite thing about this army paint job wise is definitely the Terminator helmets in white, and then the Terminator captains here. I did find some old banners from the old sculpts to put on these guys. And so these guys with kind of the purple lightsaber power sword look, really big fan of these guys. And then they're bringing their banners and ready to stand fast as well. And so these guys came out really well, and I'm a big fan of them. And then we have, I'll bump at the camera here, the Fire Strike Servo Turret. This guy is a cool model. I know people say he's not very good, and I don't expect him to be very good on Table Talk, but in terms of a really cool unit to just kind of drop in your back lines and kind of be a little bit of a menace, and I let him so he can turn, this is a cool model. He was fun to paint, and then I did him in the Red Tech Marine. So I got a Red Tech Marine there, Red Tech Marine here, loose, and then I got another guy driving the Vindicator, and so really happy with that too. And then I did kind of the dirt effect over some freehanding on these hazard stripes. And so overall, came out pretty well. Not my favorite thing I've ever painted, but it's a lot of fun. And then Apothecary Biologus. This model with that Holy White over the Pro Acryl, he came out just great. So he'll hopefully keep these heavy intercessors alive a little extra longer. So they look really good too. But overall, I think I showed him off in the previous video, but that was like 6 months ago. This opens up, the gun moves, hands move. The Dreadnoughts, especially these newer, bigger ones, some of the funnest kits I've done. I cannot wait to do my other Dreadnoughts. That's, I think, my first Dreadnought, and I have 2 more. One refurbished that needs repaired, and then one still on sprue. But I cannot wait to build them for their chapters. But overall, this was a really fun army to build for the most part. But painting it was a little bit more difficult, but I love the theming. That carried me through. Oh, I got to show off the banner guy. I'm actually really proud of how this banner came out. It looks really nice. That came out a lot cleaner than some of my previous banners, but I will say this. When you paint hard stuff, you grow as a painter. Right now I'm painting my Chaos Space Marines, so I'm getting better at trim, and then I'm doing even more hazard striping to get better at that, because I did decide that some of my Chaos Space Marines should be Iron Warriors so that these guys have somebody to grudge match against. And so I'm not doing only Red Corsairs, which was the original plan, because having played a few games, as I said in a previous video, I don't need 3,000 points of one thing. What I want is several chapters that can kind of fight alongside each other, because that's also fun. And so I did that with my Eldari and realized I need to do that with my Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines too. So Iron Warriors are coming along with the Red Corsairs, and then I've got Fabius Bile and a little tiny detachment for him. So that's going to be pretty cool. But I'm looking forward to playing that, and I've played a couple of games now, and that's been really fun. I found some other kind of firstborn bits. This guy right here who leads the Intercessors, he's got a captain body, but then he's got arms from a previous edition, And this arm's up a little bit high for some reason. But other than that, I think it's just because it's a fist arm. But he's got the old school fist and then the old school pistol. And so he's kind of a retro dude, even though he is the correct size because he has the correct body for the newer Primera sculpt. And then here's my chaplain. Someday, especially after I get the Black Templars done, I want to get all of my chaplains and make a chaplain skew army of basically a pastor's conference and get all of the chaplains in one big conclave and have them fighting alongside each other. I think that would be hilarious. So I want to see what a chaplain skew list looks like. So someday I'll do that, but I still have a bunch of unpainted chaplains, so that'll have to be for another day. But for my Ultramarines, I ran a bunch of Librarians, and that was great. Librarians Conclave for Ultramarines is a great time, so definitely recommend that. But this army does not have a Librarian anymore. They have sacrificed it or traded it to the Blood Angels, but in return, they have a bunch of other cool stuff. We got, like I said, the Judicar. We've got the captain right here, his his kind of heroic squad. He's got the pointing power fist. And then we've got the Dreadnoughts. So this army, I think, has plenty of firepower. But I've rambled long enough about this project. Mostly I'm tired, but I'm glad it's done. So this army complete. I now have Ultramarines and Imperial Fists. And then I have Necrons, Tau, and Eldari. So 5 complete armies done for 11 armies in 11th edition. That means I only have 6 left. And the 6 left, Chaos Space Marines is half done. So that one's already about done, which would put me at 5.5 armies. And so I'm just about at the halfway point, which I'm really, really happy about. And so after Chaos Space Marines, Tyranids are built but not painted. And so it'll be Tyranids, but that's a half army, unfortunately. Doesn't count unless I add some more. But I am going back and forth so much right now on, do I buy some extra models for my Tyranids or extra models for my World Eaters? So comment below. Tyranids or World Eaters? Which one would be a more fun addition? Because I have a big Chaos Space Marine faction already. Do I need World Eaters or do the Tyranids need some loving? So let me know below which one of those two you would pick. I'm excited to paint both of them. Tyranids will be painting in the next month or so, and then World Eaters will be end of the edition of the magazine, so end of next year. But I got Christmas between now and then, so maybe I get Angron for Christmas if I decide to go that route. Or do I get a Norn Embassy? So you tell me what you think. I'd like to eventually have some kind of poll where you guys vote and decide what I paint, because I think that'd be a really fun challenge, because I do like painting all the different chapters and all the different armies, and so kind of opening it up I think would be a really fun time, because I know a lot of YouTube painters like to paint what they want to paint. They don't want to go out of their comfort zone as much or out of their army, but I'd be a little bit more willing to do that just because I have so many armies. So maybe I'll open that up if I eventually get this channel funded, but it is currently not. So let me know what your thoughts are in the bottom in the comments, please. And I hope you enjoyed seeing my Imperial Fists army, and please like and subscribe, and there'll be more armies to come. Have a great day. Bye.